Hello. It's good to see you. Let me just get things opened up here. And I got a Huffy for us to work on. Lots of locks. All right, here it is. Little BMX Huffy. We're gonna put new tires on it. We'll clean it up, make sure everything's tight, looking good, set up correctly. It's gonna be cool. Oh, let's see. First thing we'll do before we do put it in the stand is we're gonna make sure the handlebars are straight and tight. Because we're gonna stand over it to do that. That's a 15mm wrench. So I'm just gonna stand and look over the center of the bike, make sure it's where it needs to be. So right now the handlebars are angled front a little too far. Now I'm a taller guy for this bike, so it's a little tricky for me to set it up for a shorter rider, right? Because I'm gonna be bigger than the rider. Loosen the wrong one. That one there is what's gonna keep it straight. So it needs to move just a little bit. So I'm gonna hold the wheel with my legs and turn that just a little bit. And we'll tighten this guy back up. Now the other one in the front, that's what's gonna do the angle. But you need a right size wrench. Wrong again. Wrong again. I think I have it in my pocket. So I'm moving those back just a little bit. I think that would be pretty good for the size rider that would be using this bike. All right, now we'll put it in the stand. Seat's a little crooked, and we'll move that a little. And I got a list on the wall of what we'll go through in order. So headset and neck, we did that. Handlebars, we did that. Front wheel, front brake. It doesn't have a front brake. Front wheel, we're gonna put a new tire on there. We'll put a new tire on the back. What should we do? Wheels? Tires? Let's do the tires. Let's use a ratchet wrench. We'll take both wheels off and we'll do both tires at the same time. Now it has these little safety tabs, right? These guys here, that little tab goes in the hole there. So if the nut comes loose, the wheel doesn't fall out. Very important that those are always there and in those holes correctly. That way, again, if the nut comes loose, it will still hold it in. Let's take the back one off. Now in the back, we also have this bracket, right, that's holding the back wheel. They're often hard to turn. Sometimes you got to put a little wrench on the nut on the back and do it that way. Yep. This one is really tight. There we go. Yeah, we'll put the nut back on so we don't lose it. That was 8mm. And we're gonna throw the nut in there. Now we're gonna move the wheel front to get the chain off the front chain ring. So we have some slack to get it all the way out the back. This is gonna get messy, so let's put some gloves on. You know what? I think I'll grab a brush and we'll dust them off a little bit. Got cobwebs on it. So I actually picked this bike up at a consignment sale for $2.50. So we'll bring this back to life for somebody. It's this little tire stem tool. We're gonna let the air out. And then we'll use a tire removal tool. That little hook on the end is the hook into the spoke. So you get this guy under here. And that'll hold the one. See how it's holding that one in there in the spoke here? Then we'll put the second one in. And we'll peel it around. Get this tire off. Still too much air in there. And then you want to be careful doing this that you don't rip the tube. Okay? So there's one. Now we're just going to take a towel and wipe inside of here to make sure there's no dirt or debris or things that could puncture the tube. And then I'm going to easily check it with my finger because if there is something sharp, I don't want to cut myself. Feels pretty good. Right? We'll start at the hole where the valve stem goes in. We'll look at it. Looks pretty good. I don't think it's bent. I mean, we could put it in the stand to check if it's straight. I don't think it's bent. It's got a little bit of a bend to it. Not much. We're just going to tighten the spoke on the opposite side. Yep, pull it over a little bit. We'll just check it for true. right? Looks pretty good. Let's get the tire off of this one. So I'm just pushing down on as much of the tire as I can with this arm to help get the air out. We'll use our tool again. Put one in to hold it and get it started. And then we'll pull the second one around. I'm on the opposite side of the stem because I'm going to peel it over. You don't want to peel it over on the side with the stem because it could be hard on the stem, right? So I'm going to the opposite side and peeling it over. Right, we're going to pull the tubes out, get rid of the tires. Oh, let's check the back rim. I'm just going to go around, make sure there's nothing in there. Right, we're just going to check it. We want to make sure that the rim tape is good, right? That the hole is lined up. We know it was because the tube came out of it. That one looks okay. Now we need two 20-inch tires. Think that'll work? Now these are rolled up, so we got to get them into shape. And we're going to look at them to see if there is an arrow, if they're a directional tire, right? So it would be somewhere here on the sidewall. Right? It tells us the size, right? 20 by 2.125. And so we know we started at the 20. We're going to look all the way around for an arrow. We're all the way back to the 20 and there was no arrow. And I know by the tread pattern that it's not a directional tire. Okay. Now we got to get these guys back on. Which way should we do it first? We're going to get more air out of the tube now that it's out. So we'll fold it up. And just use that little tool. You can use a little screwdriver or whatever. So let some air out. Okay. Which rim did we check for straight? Now I don't remember. We only looked at one. We only looked at one of them. That looks pretty good. Maybe that was there. I think we did the front one. Oh, now I dropped the nut. Ugh. Yes, it was the front one. This is the one that we already straightened, or we checked for true. Okay. We're gonna put the tire on the rim, half the tire on the rim. Now we're gonna take the tube, obviously get the twists out of it. We're gonna find the valve stem hole. We're gonna put the stem through the hole. And then we're gonna put a cap on it so the stem doesn't come back out. So the cap, we'll put that on there, and that'll prevent the tube or the stem from coming back out of that hole. We're gonna put the tube in or all the way around, and we're gonna make sure it's not twisted or pinched. We're gonna start at the stem and begin to put the tire on. And I'm just working my way around with my thumb. Sometimes the opposite side comes back up. You just got to keep working at it. And get that guy back on. It's very important you make sure you don't pinch the tube. So you got to kind of look and feel where the tube is. Boom. That's nice. Now let's air it up. Now here I'm going to pinch the tire and the tube to hold the stem from coming up out while I push this on. Flip the lever. Somewhere on here it should have the flasher. Inflate to 35 psi. You're not gonna be able to see it, but there on the sidewall it tells you how much air pressure to put in, 35. And then down here I have a gauge that tells me where I'm at. All right. We can put a little more in later, but that's enough now to get it back on the bike. And since we have the cap, we'll put the cap on. Back tire, same thing. Might as well clean up the sprocket while it's here. Get some of the cobwebs and dirt off. At the other side. We know the tire is not directional because we checked the first one. When you're doing this, you don't want to pull on the spokes real hard. You definitely don't want to pull on just one, right? You don't want to be fighting and pulling on one spoke because you'll bend the spoke. So you want to try to grab the rim. All right, we got half the tire on. We got the next tube. We'll let some more air out. All right, we're gonna start at the stem and push the tire on. All right, see how the tube is in there? We don't want to pinch it. And we'll get this on all the way around. We also want to make sure that the stem is straight. Okay, we don't want the stem to be on a hard angle, right? You wouldn't want the stem to be going another direction, and then that would be hard on it and could damage it or the tube. Put some air in this one. Again, I'm pinching the tire and holding it down while I push this on, holding the tube down. Oh, I got my glove. And the reason I'm stopping is I'm looking at the gauge on the pump right here, 25. Let's grab a cap for that one. Okay, 2 new tires, cool. Let's go back to the bike. Now that we have it apart, let's clean up back in here. Let me grab a brush. Right, this is just kind of, you know, dried up. The dirt's really dry, so it'll clean off fairly easily. I'm cleaning this area in here before I put the wheel back on, because I can get to it. And this is just basic all-purpose cleaner. Now you could obviously, you know, clean it with a garden hose and whatever soap you got. But we're here and we'll do it this way. Okay. Back wheel. Put the chain over the sprocket. It's off on this front sprocket, that's okay. We need the slack to be able to get this in the notch. We're going to put this in. And then we've got to put that bracket back on, right? This guy here. Let me raise it up. Right, we've got to put this back in there, and a bolt, our Phillips screwdriver, and our 8mm wrench. The bracket's bent, so the hole's not lining up. Straightened it with my fingers. Bolt, or machine screw, I guess we should say. Nut on the back. We'll hold the nut with a wrench as we tighten it up. And then we'll turn the wrench to do the final tightening. Actually, shouldn't have went that tight yet. We've got to slide this back and forth to get the chain tension correct, and then we'll tighten this up. My mistake. Yeah, now this guy can slide a little bit. Whoop, we're all the way out. Now, it'll be a little bit trickier to get the chain back on because we've got the chain guard in our way. Hopefully we won't have to take it off. Is this freewheel? Can we go backwards? Nope. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to get the chain on the tooth of the sprocket in the front. We might have to take the chain guard off. Let's take this water bottle. Take this water bottle thing off. And what would it take to take this off? Phillips screwdriver. Instead of fighting with it, we'll just take this off. It's an extra step, but and now we can clean in here. Now you can see, hopefully. All right, we're just gonna put that chain on the front. We can kind of ride around. Kickstand's in the way. There we go. Oh, it's got pedal brakes. Well, now we can set the chain tension. So we're gonna pull back on the wheel and begin to tighten up these nuts. Now what I'm looking at here is the wheel centered in the frame in the back, okay? There's a hole here for a brake mount bracket if there was brakes on it, and you can look at the center of the tire and the center of that hole. You can also look at the gaps here. What you don't want, right, is the tire to be all the way over to one side. You want it to be centered. It's a little loose. Sometimes you got to go back and forth. What you can do is make it snug, not really tight. See, it's too tight for me to slide. You got to get two things right. You got to get the chain tension right, and you got to get it straight. So right now, chain tension looks good, but it's really crooked. It's touching the frame on this side, and there's a huge gap on this side. So if I turn it a little, so I'm actually pulling towards me with my right hand. You'll get it. You'll get it. Just be patient with it and keep going back and forth. So it's centered. Chain tension, it's a little loose. So I'm pulling towards me now with my left hand as I loosen to try to get a little more tension. Loosen some more. Ooh. Sometimes you just gotta be patient with it. Be patient, go back and forth. I'm putting my finger in here right now to see. So my finger fits in this side, but it doesn't fit in this side, which means I'm crooked. I wanna take the tire that way, so I'm gonna tighten this one on my left. I'm gonna loosen the one on my right, because that will actually make the chain a little tighter. And I'm pulling the tire that way with my left hand. And now I'm just tightening it up, obviously. All right, well, with the chain guard off, we can clean the inside of it. We'll wipe this out. We can also do a little work on the chain. We can clean this up in here a little bit. Now I might take this outside and wash it. But we'll just get some of the heavy dirt off while it's here. Should we lube the chain? What do you think? We're just kind of listening. Let's lube the chain a little bit. First, let's make sure there's not like debris and dirt in it. So we'll just kind of brush it out. Now this chain's pretty dry. And it was just like some road dirt. You don't want to get your brush greasy, or you want to use a brush that you're okay with getting greasy. I don't want to drip all over the floor, so we'll just grab a towel and some lube and wish we had a third hand to turn the crank. So I kind of have an idea of where I am. Some guys who are more patient than me will drop it on each and individual, every, or what would you say, like connecting point? Like they would do one at a time, like this one, and this one, and this one. Yeah, that's not me. Not with this bike. Right, we just want to, and I can see it's wet, so I know I'm back at the beginning. And then we don't want this all over our pant leg. So I know it may seem a little counterintuitive here to wipe it like this, but the oil or the lube that's down inside in between, it's not getting wiped off right now. But it's spreading it over all the links to keep it from rusting. I'm happy with that. What next? Put the chain guard back on? Let's do it. Clean this up a little. Grab our 2 Phillips screws. One in the front. All right, so it's just a tiny little Phillips. And we just want to make sure in the front that it's not rubbing. And same in the back. What else should we do, right? Looking at the list on the wall, we've got front wheel, rear wheel, rear brake, chain, we did that, crank, pedals. There we go. So the crank, I'm just gonna check it, feel it. It feels tight. Pedals, pedal wrench. One goes one way, one the other. Which one goes which? I don't always remember. This is pull up or push forward or whatever. That's tight. One's left hand, one's right hand, so they don't unthread while you're riding. Yeah, they're tight. Pedals crank. Reflectors. Oh, we still have to put the front wheel on. We'll loosen this up a little bit. I'm just turning it. Aim it correctly. Back reflector would be here on the seat. Yeah, you see it's broken. It's just missing. This style kind of slides on and then clips over. Let's see if we can find one. This one fit. Will it fit? It's too small. Wrong color. Ooh, ooh. This one might work. Let's clean it off. Let's clean the seat post off. And the seat. And we're going to take the old reflector mount off, right? So it's missing the red reflector piece. This one here looks like it's wrong. It's just out of adjustment. So we'll loosen that. And we can change that angle once we get it on the bike. We're just loosening the piece that goes over the tube. There we go. A little bit more. All right. Before I put it in, I'm going to shoot some PB Blaster down in the hole. There's some rust in there that you can't see. And then we're going to put a little bit of grease on the seat post. And that'll help it slide up and down in there. And I'm putting it on the end because once I put it in there, it'll kind of push it up the rest of the way. And we'll just kind of work it around a little. You don't want a lot because you go to adjust it and then you get it on your hands and then on your clothes. All right, so we'll just kind of set that guy. I'm lining up the tip of it with the frame. We'll tighten that up. Then we can angle it. What else do we got to do? Front wheel, obviously. Yeah, that's kind of a important piece. First I was tightening the screw to hold the angle of it, and now I'm tightening the screw that clamps it to the seat post. 8mm. Wow, we almost forgot this guy back here, that bracket. Okay, front wheel, why not? I kind of like these tires for this bike. What do you think? So we're gonna back out the nuts, pull those little brackets out of the way, slide it up on, put the brackets in the holes. Tighten it up. Let me move it so you can see. I'm also looking here to see that the wheel is centered. Now, bar caps. Can you see? In the end here where the grips are, that's pushing in. And I don't like that. You don't want to crash and core sample yourself. There's a knife in here somewhere. It's cut 3/4 of the way. So I'm just cutting the rest of the rubber grip out. This one's the same. See? So we're just going to cut the rest of it out. Why am I cutting it out? I'm cutting it out so we can put a plug in. Got a couple different sizes here. What do you think the chances are I get it right the first time? Maybe. Maybe. Ooh, ooh. Huh? First try. There's 3 different sizes there in the bags. Boom. Can we straighten that out at all? Wait a second. That says mongoose. This is a Huffy. All right. Any spiders in there? Nope. Ooh, look at how it used to be brighter green. A little faded. It'll still ride the same. Just straighten that guy out. I think that's about it. Let's just double check the seat is tight to the post. Check that. Right? We've done front wheel, back wheel, crank, pedals, chain guard, seat post, reflectors. Grips are tight. I don't want a grip that's going to be loose on the handlebar. Grips feel good. Headset is good. That would be this nut here. I think we're in good shape. You know? Brakes work. You know? Maybe we'll clean it up a little more. But you know how to clean a bike. Well, hey, thanks for spending time with me today. And some kid's gonna get a cool little Huffy with brand new tires. Now listen, I did do a lot of explaining, but I'm not a professional bike mechanic, right? So this is more just to show you how to do things, right? And to give you ideas and to show you that you can do it too, right? But if you want professional advice on working on a bike, head on over to Park Tool. They've got excellent videos, how-to videos on all things bicycles. So again, I'm not an expert, little disclaimer, just showing you some things that you could do and tips and tricks. Thanks for spending time with me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, and have a great rest of your day.